Look at these massive cliffs. We felt so small driving through these giants. We're Carla and Lina and we've swapped a courier letter for a life on the road, wandering the world in our Land Rover Defender, PANGO. We're finally back on the road and we've reached a remarkable point on the world map, the southernmost tip of Africa. From here, it only got higher, slowly climbing into the mountains of the Karoo. But first, we had a few last things to take care of before we could leave. Wander along with us.
I can't procrastinate any further.
That's the planning for now. We'll see from there. Welcome back, everybody. Last week you saw us arrive in the Western Cape and start doing some work on PANGO to prep for the rest of our journey. We didn't quite finish everything, so there's a few more tasks that we have to do before we are ready to hit the road and explore the Western Cape of South Africa some more. For instance, I'm now busy with this DIY mount for the Starlink for the roof. Now, let's hope it turns out prettier than it is now. So for this, we want something that's quite sturdy, that sits on one of the roof rails of the alucab, and it can then sit like this, two of them sitting like this on the roof rail, and I could not find a turning knob with a thread anywhere easily, so we made our own one with the riv nut, and this will be our turning knob to fix it to the roof rail. And I think we saw in Jammy Gets that they also fixed it with a little rope with a carabiner to the roof so that if it flies off it at least just flaps around there. I think we'll do that too.
First problem of the week, our 220 sockets are not working anymore. Last episode, as you might have seen, we changed the sockets. And now all of a sudden, no power.
So, unfortunately, everything is so tight in here, we can't get to the RCD and whatever the other thing was, the circuit breakers. So I'll have to take out the cubby box in between the seats, and you can help me. When we installed the system, the only 3-core wire we could find was, I don't know why, but it was very, very, very thick. And so we struggled to get the wire ends into these circuit breakers. I see that the one has pulled out, neutral has pulled out. So I think that's our problem. Okay, hopefully that was it. Everything's on, inverter's on.
Yes.
Okay. Just tightening some screws. While we're here, we can also install a little switch for the Starlink. So we bought a little transformer for the Starlink to run directly from DC, especially when it's on the roof. Maybe it wasn't necessary, but it sounded cool. This is it. To put this, so it goes from 12 volt to about 48 volt, 3 amps max. And we need to put it somewhere here, and then we want a little switch because it does pull a lot of power, take a lot of battery capacity, and we can just switch it off and on when we go to sleep. So we put the Starlink switch, power switch, on this little panel together with 220 volts, but anyway, so it can all be neatly worked away in here, and then we can close it up, put the cubby back, and hopefully electricity stuff is done, sort of. are finally at the stage where I can't procrastinate any further. I have to tackle the diesel heater. So we've done all of the other tasks that we had to do. Well, almost all of the big ones that we needed the tools here for. And now I need to start with this. So it's scary because I need to drill massive holes into the floor. And I need to decide where the exhaust goes. And yeah, so anyway, this diesel heater, the Vavor 2 kilowatt heater, we will be installing underneath the fridge. So the fridge normally sits here and it will be going in there, and the exhaust and air inlet will be going down through the floor, going underneath the car. So now we need to fit the template. There's a little plate, a foot plate that it goes onto, and of course nothing fits there because everything is custom built here. We need to cut everything to size and see where we end up. Let's see. With this, we can either shorten this. I think for us now the best place to let this come out is somewhere here. Otherwise we are going to take a lot of room underneath the cupboards. I think the most important bit is this area to heat it up. And we can also maybe just take it off, put it somewhere else when we don't use it. And in Southern Africa for a while, I don't think for the next 6 months or so, we'll be using it a lot. So on the diesel heater's bottom, you see you have the fuel line, the diesel line going in. And you have an air intake and an exhaust out. And then you have this little footplate that it can stand on to make sure everything is level, and it can only go one way around due to that little hole, so it's either this way or this way, but not this way. So now I need to see how we can get this plate there and cut it to size. So what we're trying to achieve here is waste as little space as possible. So if I can have some space left there at the back for some spares and so on, that's great. You just need a few centimeters here for the cooling fan over the body of the heater. Then if I can have just a little space here to bend this pipe outwards, then I think we're good. So I can make plans all I want inside, but I need to check underneath the car so that I don't drill into any beam or area that's not accessible. Let's see. See, here we are. Rear diff prop shaft. So the area that I'm looking at up top is about from here to there. It's not so easy to see. I think all that I have to work with, if I don't want to go into this thing, is this little spot. So I need to make sure I end up here with the exhaust and inlet and fuel line, and from there I can at least go towards the outside there by the rear wheel. Okay, I needed a bigger tool for the job. Been a bit more of a struggle than I hoped, but I think we have enough space now to place the heater. I had to make the hole bigger than planned. There you see there's the exhaust pipe now sticking out of there, but I connected the two holes to make space for the Jubilee clamps that also need to sit there. So this is causing the big hole, and now I will connect everything and try and fix the plate to the floor. But this is what it looks like now. The air intake line is connected, the diesel line is connected, the exhaust line will go there, and then this plate will be fixed to the floor. Okay, one more on the other side, and then I think it's sealed off enough. Then I need to take off all of these sharp points and then fix the exhaust and air intake to somewhere, and then hopefully we're done. Woohoo! Well, sort of, but for now anyway.
This all still needs to be sorted out and packed. Meanwhile, Carla's working on one of the last tasks in PANGO, which is installing our diesel heater. We might not be able to finish it all the way, but we can then finish it up on the road. We leave for Cape Town tomorrow for our first brief pit stop, and then in the upcoming 2 to 3 weeks, our plan is to head towards Lesotho, and we want to do that via the coolest mountain passes in the Western and Eastern Cape. So we're really looking forward to that, and we are super excited to be on the road again. But first a few little things to do, and hope we can finish everything today. So if you were wondering what I was spraying on this table, I'm not a big fan of the texture of this metal. So I used peel coat on it. Yeah, it just feels nicer, I think. So let's see if it sticks, if it holds. We're packing up.
Now I managed to finish most of my tasks. So underneath the fridge sits the diesel heater now. So you can't see much at the moment, but there it sits, the Vevor diesel heater, and I can show you a little bit of what it looks like below the vehicle. It's not the neatest of work, but anyway, let's see. In there you can see there's the air intake coming out, there's the exhaust coming out, and the diesel line coming in. I still need to make a plan for the diesel to come in, but at least most of this is fixed in place and we can finalize that later. Then another task was the Starlink mount. So we made the mount and I think it works quite well. So what you can see here is we have this self-made turning knob to tighten it into place, and we have aluminium extrusions that we cut in half and used for clamping it, some rubber in between, and very strong brackets. So it is quite sturdy. I think it will work. And there's a feed through at the back where the power cable is coming through and the transformer, so we're tapping off directly from the DC. It's transforming to 48 volt and coming through the roof to the Starlink. Yeah, I think we're ready to go.
I think so too. It's a bit high up here.
Yeah, she's afraid of heights, for those of you that don't know.
Yeah.
So let's go down very carefully.
Yeah. Let's get our boxes back here. And I think that's it. Please help me.
Okay, okay, I'll help you.
Cape Town, where we will meet Kirsty from Lunar Landy. Maybe you remember her, we spent time together overlanding in Kenya. Lunar will not be here, but Pango will. And later this week we will hopefully also meet other overlanding friends, people who we met in Mozambique. Must have been already 9 months ago. We are sharing an Airbnb with Kirsty.
Yes.
In Kalk Bay. And this Sunday morning we saw the cyclists, and now
Planning our route. So, like you'd said earlier, we want to do some more of the passes between the coast and the Klein Karoo. And now we're trying to figure out how to do as many of them as possible. How we can drive without ever doing a road twice. Sometimes it's not possible, but I think so far we've marked out, I think, like 10 passes plus the 7 passes that we will be doing. So from tomorrow we'll leave Kalk Bay, then we'll go to Onrus. From there we want to go to the most southern point of Africa, Cape Agulhas. And then we are going to head up towards Swellendam, do a Gysmanshoek pass. We'll go to the hell. And then we will go through Seweweekspoort. We will do Montague Pass. We'll do the 7 passes. And then hopefully Prince Alfred Pass. And then towards Nature's Valley. So that's the planning for now. We'll see from there. So, we're leaving Kalk Bay now, and then that last mountain you see there, hung cliff, hanging rock, that's where we want to turn along the coast, so we're going to follow the coastline today. And finally, we're on our way and we're going to sleep in PANGO. Nice, eh?
yes,
Feels good again.
it does. So is that hang clip or is that hang clip?
I don't know anymore. It's leaving us hanging. I'm not sure. I don't know.
So we just had lunch and we are now on our way to Onrus. Who we're gonna meet, Carla?
Franca and Ruud. The Dutch, she's from Mozambique. So we're driving now here past Kalk Bay, and then we'll go past Betty's Bay and along the coast for as much as possible until we get to Onrus, which is close to Hermanus.
So, PANGO is parked. Tonight's gonna be the first night again. Back in the car. Slept in the Airbnb, of course. And there are our friends. Cheers.
Cheers.
Proost.
Proost allemaal.
Joehoe.
We are going to do as many mountain passes as possible, also some gorges. And this is the first one. We're starting off slow. The name is Seweweekspoort Pass. Weak height pass. And it's not much, but this is the start. Let's warm up. This area is beautiful, but there was a massive fire. We know also from friends that it destroyed farms where they had this sanctuary for wildcats. You can see some of the damage in the area here.
The area where we're driving is close to Stanford, and we're actually on our way to the most southern point of Africa. This is Cape Agulhas. It's the most southern point of Africa. It's also the place where the Indian Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean meet. From here, the only way is up.
Close your eyes, hear the voice within calling. This heavy load got under your skin. All in, you got the white knuckles holding on it tight, keeping your feelings bottled up inside. Heading for collision and denial. To really live, you gotta die. Breathe in, breathe out. Hey, come alive. Breathe in, breathe out. Look at the colors, colors, colors.
We are leaving Nona Rosa bush camp, and it was a great camp, just what we needed. And now we are heading through Heidelberg to Gysmanshoek Pass, and then I think something Voetkloof, and then Seweweekspoort Pass, and then we'll see where we sleep. So excited! Hopefully it's less windy today. I'm not sure if it will be less hot.
Well, and right after those wishes, our coolant level sensor started beeping. So our biggest wish now is there's nothing wrong?
No, nothing. Coolant level is fine. So maybe it was just because we were driving a bit skew, because our sensors are a bit high. Sits a bit high on this little tank. But no, it's fine. It was just because the car did this and the sensors are sitting too high. So hopefully that's okay. We're now entering Gysmanshoek pass. It's actually a historical pass. It's an ox wagon route that the Boers used to bring supplies from Heidelberg to Ladysmith, so from more the coastal areas, over the mountains, over the Lange Berge, to the Klein Karoo. And it was always the pass that they used until more modern passes like Trudeau Pass and so on were built, and this sort of went into disuse. But apparently it's beautiful with fynbos, proteas, and yeah, so we're looking forward to our first proper pass. Imagine in the middle of the 17th century coming here with ox wagon trying to get over this mountain. You really have to have guts. You really have to have guts. What is it now?
I don't know, but probably somewhere between 35 and 40 degrees Celsius.
But it's a dry heat.
Is that better?
Yeah, they say so. It is better than the Kenyan coast where it was a humid heat. So, not for you.
But we're having a great day, regardless the hotness.
Yeah. Oh, another gate.
Oh, back to work.
She always chooses the right times to drive. It's like she knows.
I don't know what she's moaning about.
So these routes are not locked. You can drive through. You just need to close the gates because of the animals on the farm. Yeah?
Duty's done.
Duty's done.
Our day ended on an even higher note, winding through the towering cliffs of Seweweekspoort, an 18-kilometer gravel road that twists and turns, ancient rocks on each side. Mind-boggling geology.
knuckles holding on it tight, keeping your feelings bottled up inside, heading for a collision in the night. To really live, you gotta die. Breathe in, breathe out. Hey, come alive. Breathe in, breathe out. Look at the colors, colors, colors. Round. Moments pass, make this one count. Untie. You're so good at dragging yourself down. Why? Well, there ain't much time left to figure things out. Deep underneath all the laser, your doubts. There's a heart gone out of rhythm in despair. Hell underwater, fine for air. Breathe in, breathe out. Hey, come alive. Breathe in, breathe out. Look at the colors, colors, colors around, You got the white knuckles holding on it tight, keeping your feet bottled up inside, heading for a collision in the night. To really live, you gotta die.
Good morning, everyone. We camped here in the Klein Karoo on the Overland Pass. It's somewhere between Laingsburg and the Seweweekspoort Pass. And yesterday afternoon, when we got here, we first had to do some fixes. Most important one was the window, the passenger window. As in Tanzania, on the most dusty roads, the window didn't want to close anymore. So what happens during the corrugation, and when we move it, it sort of jumps out of that little groove, but inside here. So in here, that little channel jumps out and the window sits in front of the channel. So again, had to remove this whole thing, and as always, I can't get this thing out. I've tried everything and it died a violent death yesterday. So any tips will be welcome on why the window is doing that, how I can prevent that, and how I can prevent this. But oh, look at that. Oh, you know what, I realize we never showed them this thing. Yeah, so
At least not the end result.
yes, in the previous videos we had Lida showed you that I was working on this extra cup holder around the cubby, and it's finished. So we have extra space here. This fits perfectly our AirPod holder, and there's some extra space on the sides for telephones. So any little storage area is welcome. That's it for this episode. We're on our way again. We were just warming up the last few days, so join us again next week for more beautiful passes and gorges. Thank you for watching.